My name is Anaid Telles. I'm coursing 5th semester at Tech Milenio Campus Cuernavaca and I'm going to talk about Cold War. The Cold War began in 1945 and ended in 1991. It was after World War II ended, and it began because of the tension democracies in the Western world. It was led by the United States, meanwhile the communist Eastern Europe by the Soviet Union. They never officially declared war, but it was fought indirectly with proxy wars, arms race, and space race. The proxy wars were fought among countries that were supported by US and USSR. Some examples of these are the Vietnam War, Korean War, Soviet-Afghanistan War, and Yom Kippur War. It came to an end when the Soviet Union collapsed. Some of the important dates of the Cold War are Berlin Bloc and Airlift in June 26, 1948, Korean War in June 1950, Space Race in October 4, 1952, U-2 reconnaissance plane in May 1, 1960, Bay of Pigs in April 17, 1961, Reagan visits the world in August 12, 1961, Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962, Strategic Arms Limitation Talks in November 1969, Soviets invade Afghanistan in December 1971, reunited Germany in November 1989. The term Cold War refers to an ideological conflict between the US and the USSR that carried methods short of sustained overt military action. There are two economic systems, capitalism and socialism. Capitalism affords economic freedom, consumer choice, and economic growth. It is a market-based economy. This means that it is made up of buyers and sellers. The goods and services produced are intended to make a profit, which is reinvested into economy. In this economic system, the government don't interfere in the free market economy. To work efficiently, there is needed the continuous production and purchase. Adam Smith is who noticed that mercantilism was not force of development and change, but a regressive system was creating trade imbalances between nations and keeping them from advancing. Meanwhile, socialism is an economy controlled by the state, provides for a greater social welfare and decreases business fluctuations, production owned by public enterprises or cooperatives, and individuals compensated based on the principle of individual contribution, economic activity and production planned by central planning authority and based on human consumption needs. Socialist people believe that economy inequality is bad for society and the government is responsible of reducing it via programs that help poor people. The one who proposed it was Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto. I am going to interview my sister Berta. She is 19 years old. What countries were the world leaders during this period?
United States and the Union Soviet Socialist Republics.
Why did countries who were allies during the wars become enemies afterwards?
Because they had different ideologies and they had tension democracies between the countries mentioned before.
Where did the Cold War take place?
Around the globe, but mostly in proxy wars, such as the Korean War and the Vietnam War.
What opinion did the general public have of the Cold War?
Some were in disagreement because they thought that they would lose the confidence of their allies, and others agree because they want to end with communism or capitalism.
What type of weapons did the two world powers have at their disposal?
Nuclear weapons and the atomic bomb.
How did Cold War ended?
Cold War ended because the USSR collapsed. Communist countries became capitalist and the Warsaw Pact countries entered to the NATO.
Thank you for the interview. I think that Cold War is an important issue because it changed the way of thinking of many countries and it makes us who we are now. There are two economic systems that in their time it worked for each country. Some had capitalist, that is the one we have nowadays, and is a freedom market, and the other one is communism, that was controlled by the state. I think that the countries had their own reasons to choose the economic system they wanted. I also think that Cold War leads us to many new things, and it gave us many new discoveries. Nowadays we use